We are live. Hi, everyone. Welcome, welcome, welcome. And hello, Nick. How are you?
Hi, Marie. I'm very well. And how are you?
I'm excellent, thank you. So,
Thank
it's been a bit of a whirlwind week, just catching up with things, but it's been
you.
good. So,
Yeah,
how have you
yeah.
been feeling, Nick?
Well, interesting you say that because I don't normally, I'm really hopeless. If something's happened to me a month ago, I don't have any recollection of it whatsoever. It's like when it happens, I let it go. I go through it and I let it go. But I saw a list of all the things and the ailments that people are probably currently going through. And I thought, oh, yeah, I've been experiencing that. But I think it was a night or two ago where I woke up and the sound that was coming in my ear, the
Oh,
vibration,
yep.
was so intense. And I'm just thinking, oh, I'm so glad that I'm actually lying in bed and I'll probably go back to sleep soon because I couldn't put up with its intensity. It was just way too much. But I knew straight away that knowing this, I thought, oh no, this is actually something. This is something really good. This is helping. So and then as soon as I did it and I tuned into it, it started changing the tone and become more melodic, and then it just dissipated. But it was
Nice.
full on.
Because
Yeah.
I was getting that last night. I was getting really full on that ringing and stuff, and then eventually it went. But yeah, it was so full on. I mean, I've always had a little bit of tinnitus in the background,
Yeah,
but
me too.
it was so full on. So I'm glad you said that. So let's hear who's on with us. We've got Kathleen B, Lady Hawk, Marie, Christine. How are you, everyone?
Oh, hi, lovely ladies. Great to have you here.
I know. And so let us know how you've been feeling, if you've had any light body symptoms with this amazing frequency coming in.
Mm.
So for me as well, one of my friends that passed, she's definitely been coming in, and she was popping into Zan's head as well. So we had a bit of a chat yesterday and said, okay, what's going on here? So I think there's a lot of energy here that's been really stirred up for people. So yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, so Marie's also had the ringing.
Oh, the ringing was high pitched and almost vibrating. Yes.
That's exactly, and I actually had to do these ones with my ears at one point. I was going, "What?"
I
It's
know.
so weird. So,
Yeah.
yeah,
And
no,
the
I think,
quantity.
yeah, we're copying it. And of course, we know that that's activating and bringing through energy, activating our pineal gland, our pituitary gland,
Mm.
and really helping us to, just let those little veils and whatever drop away a lot more.
Mm.
So yeah, Kathleen's had the same as well.
Yes,
What are the
ringing.
other symptoms, Kathleen? What else have you been getting? So I've actually had a bit of a tummy upset. So yeah, and I'm like, oh, that's not like me. So anything, like physically, it can be anything that actually affects us. So Christine is on. Hi, gorgeous. Yeah. So look, let us know, because I know that there's a lot of energy coming in. So, and I've been a bit dizzy too, I've noticed. I don't know about, have you as well? Oh, good. Because I was going, there's something wrong with me. I'm walking weird. I feel like I'm on a lean. It's so weird. Yeah.
That dizziness you're talking about, I was driving back. I was down at the coast, then I was driving back, and the sun was setting, and you could see across the fields off into the west. And as it was setting, I was just looking at the trees and the sun do this normally, and I love watching that as I'm in the car as a passenger. And as I was doing it this time,
Mm.
oh, every time I did it, I was just like I was about to faint.
You're getting vertigo almost. Wow.
Yes. Yeah, it was extreme. I thought, oh no, maybe that's just a one-off. So I kept doing it, seeing if I could build up my resistance. No, no way. I was just like, oh, I'm gonna make myself sick if I do not stop doing this. And I do
Wow.
it all the time. So,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
then I knew straight away. I thought this is much bigger than just me having a little experience here. So,
It's
yeah, needless to
cool.
say, I stopped.
Yeah, yeah, and otherwise you'd just be, driving off the road. So, but it's funny, isn't it, when we notice things when we can normally attune into different things, and then all of a sudden it's out of balance for
Yeah.
us. So, yeah, and, Kathleen, yeah, you had some stiff neck, but you knew it was a shift, and that's it. I think as long,
Mm.
when we know we've had a sore something, my right knee's been sore as well. The only time that happens is when I'm going through a shift. So yeah, it's interesting, and once you know that, it's like there's no panic about it. It's like, yeah, all right, this has happened so many times, I know it's going to move. So,
Mm.
which is great. I mean, we're really blessed that we actually do understand that, I think.
Mm.
So, of course, if there's something more, you get it checked out if you're worried. But sometimes just sitting with it, it does tend to dissipate.
Because
So
we are here to integrate those energies. That's what our physical bodies are here now doing. And I've pulled 3 just oracle cards this morning, and I'm going to pull them up. I thought just throughout the show to reinforce this idea of what I think from a bird's eye perspective we're all experiencing now from so basically we're talking about what we've been experiencing and where we are now sitting. So I'll just leave them a little bit longer and see if they come up again, and then it's so obvious to me when I pull them. I thought, oh, yes.
Okay, that's interesting. Sorry, I'm just trying to change something on there, and that's right, won't change. So you're going to just show us as they come up. Is that what you're saying?
Well,
Sorry.
yeah. I mean, the thing is that this is what we've been working on. I think we all know that. This is, to me, what we've been going through.
What does it say? Shadow. Absolutely, definitely shadow stuff, because I kept getting ego, shadow as well.
So it's still there, and we're still processing it because we don't even know what shadows we've got until they come up. But at the same time, this card came up, and I feel like this is what we're having to do, is liberate ourselves and to ground it all back through our bodies. And that's what I meant about some of those physical symptoms and energies that are coming in. And it's all very earthly looking there because we are earthly beings here. So I feel that what we're experiencing is so true of, where we've come from to what we're trying to do now. And because we're so aware of it, that's where the liberation comes in. The more we become aware of what's happening.
Yes.
True. And tuning back in to our true selves and our soul. Oh, I've got little things floating around me now.
How interesting.
Yeah, and so I'm just going to leave that last card for when that comes up.
It's interesting, Marie, as well, because I had Marie was saying, can you read that for me, that one?
Yeah, last couple of weeks, first energized, waking up after 4 hours sleep, couldn't go back to sleep, no nap even. Now can't sleep enough, full night, then a 1.5 nap, then 3-hour nap. It's crazy. It is crazy. I agree.
I'm the same. I've found that too. I've been going, I've only had 4 or 5 hours, but going wide awake, and then again, like sleeping right through and wanting a nap in the afternoon. I actually agree with that, Marie. I've had that as well. So that's true. And Kathleen, it's a really good reminder.
Did a lot of grounding this week, so it helped a lot. It does.
It really does. So Lady Hawk's got an interesting. Hi, Tanya. Tanya's on as well, and Trigal. Yay.
So Lady Hawk says, I heard that neck aches in the morning after sleeping, dreaming, were from energetic downloads from dreams. They're in the process of being integrated into us, and it goes away once it's done. I like that. I think everyone's got a different physical part of their body, but certainly, I would agree with that. I actually do often wake up with a funny little thing in my neck, and then it goes. Or a really bad pillow.
How many people say I slept wrong last night? I'm going, how long have you been sleeping for? The same way. I actually really like that comment as well. And like you say, everyone has that point where it will hit. Some people it's the neck. For me, it doesn't tend to be my neck. It'll be my knee or whatever. But you hear people say that, don't you? I slept wrong. Yeah. So, I mean, it can be that, but
have a look at the side, which side of the neck it is, because I think that's quite pertinent too. Are you still trying to integrate more, or are you also releasing?
True. Really good point. Yeah. So depending on the person, whichever side of the neck's sore, that's a really good point. And I mean, for me, I always used to sleep on my right side, and I couldn't sleep on my left side. Then I broke my right arm, so I had to sleep on my left side. Now I can't sleep on my right side. So it's interesting too how we change and adapt to things. Yeah. So apparently sleeping on your left side's better for your digestion if you've eaten. So, but
I'm all over the shop.
You're all over the shop.
Yeah,
I do flatten my back if Clive's on top of me because he wants to cuddle up.
I know I get my best sleep flat on my back, actually.
Do you? Oh, see, no, that's not normally for me. So this is interesting. I just pulled some cards on Lady Hawk, and yeah, Seven of Pentacles. So that's when lots of seeds have been planted and you're sort of waiting to see what happens. Again, Three of Wands is looking forward to the future and letting go of the past. So it's sort of resonating with what Lady Hawk has actually said there. So, and the Page of Swords, and look how his neck's turned, in his head's turned. That's funny. To me, this one is always that the story is not quite complete. It's actually a little bit of there can be a bit of a furphy, a bit of a non-truth in there as well. So sometimes it is just discerning, what needs to be looked at and what doesn't, what needs to be released and what doesn't. So I love that. That's really cool.
And also information that we sometimes get in our dream is not the actual big full picture. It's just the part of it that we're still trying to tie it all together. So
I just as well.
Yeah.
I like that. So, well, let's go back. We'll pop in now. If you've had any dreams, guys, we did have the title up. I think Maple Tree gave us the idea last week of doing it on time travel. And yeah, I know for me, when I've time traveled, like as if I should be a small child back in a situation, I'm still me. And I think what that does, it just reinforces for myself that we don't change. Our consciousness is our consciousness is our consciousness.
Yeah.
So it doesn't matter what timeline we're on. Even when I was the male for the first time, I was the masculine form, I still felt like me. And so I know that we don't die. And so that is just such confirmation. So yeah, let us know if you've got any dreams or anything going on. So should we start with Angel Laurie's dream?
Yes, please.
Okay, so Angel Laurie sent in a really beautiful email, but there's a lot in it. So Angel Laurie, I know you're probably not watching yet because it's a bit early for you. I've just really taken out the dream aspect, and so we can have a look at this, but there's a lot in there, I think, for you to decipher as well for yourself. So, okay.
Okay, let's start. I was a younger version of myself. I just had my birthday and wanted to date a boy. Yes, happy birthday. But he was from a very strange family. They may have been unkind entities dressed as humans. His family did not want me to date him. His mother was very domineering. As
Angel Laurie
was writing this, a strong sense of coffee hit her nostrils, but there was none around. The family would stare at me in contempt. And I felt the mother was doing some spells on me and Thor, the dog. I was told to leave, so I ran, as I knew I had to make a portal. And then when I jumped a small wall and ended up with co-workers. They were happy to see me. In real life, Thor had been really unwell at night and wondering if it was a psychic attack.
Okay, so Angel Laurie, thanks for sharing that one. And it's funny that this was a younger version of yourself, and the fact that you wanted to date this boy. And I do know that you did have a breakup just recently. So I'm wondering if this is actually some reflecting inner releasing of what you've been through. What are your thoughts there, Nick?
Well, as soon as you just said that about that boy, we're talking about a younger person here. I feel like this is really touching on your true soul here, because that's the inner child. And there's something about how you feel about yourself being reflected in this dream. I know that sometimes our dreams are tying in a little bit of us having to unravel what experiences we're having in real life, but they're also woven in with the idea of what our soul is trying to get us to release at the same time. So, and I hope Thor's feeling better as a result of this, because I do know animals, particularly dogs and cats, because they live in the houses with us, unless you have other weird animals living in your house. They take a lot of the negative energy from us and transmute it. They're very good at doing that because they've always got their feet on the ground. And sometimes that makes them sick, but they can release it quite quickly, whereas we've been quite good at holding on to stuff. So I'm sure that Thor has picked up on some of that energy. And I'd say that to me, whenever we have a dream, you remember you've got to turn it around as if you're looking at yourself having that experience.
Mm.
And so running away from something is actually not confronting something, perhaps. And I'm not saying this is the case with you. This is just the things that I start to flesh out in my dreams. The strange family, yes. What does that actually mean? Most of the time when we have dreams, we're connected to people we know in that dream. We say, oh, there's my friend, or there's a family member, or there could be family members coming through to show themselves, to try to give a message to you. But I'd be interested to know what other people actually think when there's a strange family around them. What would that mean to them?
Yeah, as well. Yeah, no, love it. And the fact that you went to your co-workers, so you obviously feel safe and really nourished at work, and that's your safe place almost. So sometimes, when we do have these interactions and intimate sort of relationships, it can really rock us. It can really actually bring up stuff, I guess, as well. So, and to me as well, I found it really interesting when you, where was it? Then when you had to go through a portal, you had to sort of try and get to that portal in time. And it was when you jumped a small wall. So the portal to me as well can be when we're going into other, well, usually dimensions or whatever, but you're portaling almost into a new awareness. And the fact that it only ended up being a small wall, it's like it's not going to be a huge hurdle for you, this change and this shift. And I really feel like there could be some a change up of a trauma that's happened for you, even emotionally from when you're a child. So I did pull some cards. We got 5 of Swords. This is when we're having a lot of conflict within our own mind, when there's actually a lot of stories coming up and we're sort of deciding which one's, the best. I love this one. We got Knight of Swords. So this is almost like the military coming in to help clear that mind, because it's the swords again. It's like, no, let's cut all that out. Let's just get this. Let's get this right. Let's get this done. And then a beautiful emotional card. You've got your Page of Cups, and there's some wisdom and learning. I always find the fish in that little cup is all about wisdom, and it's just a small step. It's just taking that small first emotional step through these awarenesses and new perceptions that you're going to get. So that's my feeling with it. So if anyone else has got anything they want to add in for Angel Laurie, just pop it in for us, because you guys now are getting to be pretty good at so. Okay.
And this might be a time when I want to reiterate these 2 cards again. We're still having to release some of the trauma, some of those patterns, and whatever you see, something that we've experienced that now it's time to release. And that's, once again, this is our liberation card, allowing ourselves that ability to do it. Through a dream especially is a good way of doing it, because it makes us face issues that we probably didn't want to face in real life. I don't tend to focus. Once I've discovered this, I acknowledge it, but then I move on to let it go.
Yeah.
Because I feel that when it's in my reality, if I start revisiting again and again and again the trauma, that feeling, I'm creating it again for myself. So what I do is I go, no, I don't want that in my reality anymore. I'm going to do the opposite. I'm going to create what I want. So that's a sense of knowing that you have that ability to actually do it, that you can do it yourself. You don't even need anyone else. Like, we're here giving advice, but we're really actually just giving our opinion, because you will discover for yourself. Anyone and everyone that's on this planet now, none of us are better. We're just at different phases and we're having different experiences. And sometimes, yes, we have to go through a full experience, because that's what we gave ourselves. That's what we set ourselves up for. So, yeah, sometimes those traumas can hang around a bit longer for us because we have to go through the journey. Other times we just go, no, I'm not having that.
I know. And it's interesting because, like I said before, even with craft and even with, our, space brothers and sisters or whatever, sometimes it's really good. I just had the urge. I wanted to explore it. I wanted to get into it. And once I got my answers, that was it. I don't actually really go into it that much anymore. So sometimes it's really good to have that time exploring, but then let it go, because anything, whether it's your secret space programs or any of that, it's going to drain you and it's going to leave you open to lower astral energies. So I would actually start to, for me personally, I would just let it go now rather than still being connected to it, Angel Laurie, because I feel that's where we can lose that real connection to the right here, the right now. And it's all fascinating stuff. but once you know, you know. So it's like, okay, I've got that wisdom, that I've got the knowing now, can just let that go. So and just allow the healing to happen. So yeah. Yeah. So thank you for sharing all of that. It was
Well,
a
thank
really
you.
beautiful long
Thank
email.
you. And we do send you our love. And I know
Yes.
everybody here on the chat will send you our love, because as we go through things, we can sometimes feel a little alone, but we're actually meant to feel alone so we can work it out. You know,
Yeah.
it's such a paradox.
You know, and we send Thor lots of love as well. So
Mm.
he's beautiful. I've seen photos of Thor. He's just
Mm.
magnificent. So okay. So thanks for sharing. Kathleen, where are we?
Time travel. Oh, yes. In kindergarten, learning to tell time, then had a dream. I met the keeper of time. He showed me how time worked for Earth, a huge clock with many gears, size of a city block. And what it was
Oh, hang on. There must be no.
the first dream I remember ever having.
Oh, and
About
what it was for. I've got it. So she said, there's huge clock with many gears, size of a city block, and what it was for. And it's the first dream I ever remember having. That's amazing that that's your first dream, Kathleen. That is so cool. And, you know, I mean, how does time get manipulated so we get to have an experience? So it's actually, I love how you've turned that into a huge clock. So it's something tangible. So it slows down it slows down maybe frequency so that we get to experience. Wow. So anyone comment on this one? This is an absolute doozy. So yeah, Nick, what are your thoughts?
I've been thinking about more and more about this whole thing about time and space and what it really is. And I've come to the conclusion it's just a harmonic resonance. It's all it is. And we can, you know, if you look at a definition of time, it actually says a measurement of change. It's a way to measure change.
Love
And
it.
so you think every time you go through a change, which can be any second, any moment, and we decide what those changes are going to be within, the clock is not a stagnant thing at all. It's not a fixed thing. Yet the gears, to me, those that representing the gears can slow down. They can speed up. There's small ones. There's big ones. You know, there's layers of gears. When you look at the back of a watch, when you open it up, you'll see a gear on top of a gear on top of a gear, which sort of shows me dimensions. And then there's densities within those dimensions. So it is very complex. And that's why this linear version that we've been led to believe is only it. This doesn't actually fit us anymore.
No.
Yeah.
Okay. So Kathleen forgot to finish. She said the keeper was serious but kind old man. He said there was a tool here. Clocks weren't real. I love it. So it's exactly what you've just been saying as well. And I mean, the faster our frequency is and the faster the frequency of Earth is, it's like time becomes irrelevant. Like I know if I need to get somewhere at a certain time to get there on time, I just put my mind to it and it always happens. So yeah, it's just fascinating, isn't it? How we can work through time. I think Greg Braden also, I remember reading one of his books and they all focused because they were going to be so late, but they got there in like half the time they were meant to on this 6-hour journey or something. And I was just like, yeah, that's what happens when we all focus. So when groups like us come together and we start focusing on this, I think we should actually start watching what happens for us in day-to-day life with time. Just notice, hang on, what just happened? How did that happen so fast? Or yeah, so let's have a look at our perception of time. So I think that'd be really cool to actually to take note of it.
Exactly. And, and more I'm hearing from people, because it's been happening to me for quite a while, where I just don't know what month we're in. I don't know what time it is, and I'm not deliberately looking for it. I just assume what I feel, and it's like, that doesn't fit. This is completely wrong. And more people are saying that to me now, and it's sort of like we're learning there's this shift and this slipping that goes on, and we're quite malleable actually in our own time creation. Yeah, it's mind blowing.
Yeah, it is mind blowing. And Maple Tree was commenting that time is at the beginning of lives and the beginning of the source of this universe. Maybe our universe, who knows? With time sands of time. They talk about all of that, don't they? So who knows? Yeah, but is it even relevant to other dimensions, other like life experiences that beings are having? Yeah.
And
It's
that's just our universe that we're talking about. There's multiples. And
that's right.
and we don't even like, oh, that's where I go, okay, just put that little, I have to put that boundary up for now because I just need to deal with this universe first.
Exactly, one at a time. I know. Yeah, I love the interactions with other dimensions and parallel lives, and when we might need help or other aspects of us need helps having other experiences, we can do that. But I always wait till I'm asked almost now, unless I get a hit, oh, Marie, go in and have a look at this. But again, I'm really just currently just being right here in this moment.
Yes,
So,
me too.
yeah.
Me
Yeah.
too.
So are you the same? Yeah, it's really interesting.
Because I want to create for myself. And the only way I've learnt to do that is if I can be in that present moment, not trying to force myself with too much, but just realizing that's the only place I can fully embody creation, and let go of that.
Exactly.
So Maple Tree said, I had a dream where I time traveled to another planet searching for crystals. What was the purpose I was doing that?
Maple Tree, I want you to put
Mm.
into the comments what you feel that was for. What was that? Was there a message in that for you? Was it just was it an experience you were having? Yeah, I want you to actually put in what you feel it was. So because I think this was that was quite a personal experience and journey with that. So I mean, I could say why I think I might have been doing something like that, but yeah. So pop it in for us. That'd be really cool. So, yeah. So okay. So Lady Hook was saying, did we put this one up?
No. So
Ooh.
Kathleen says, I
Ooh,
totally
I
agree
like
with
it.
Lady Hook. This week I was doing a lot of energy work and past life healing, and know this from many lifetimes of hangings and head chopped off, been healing it and felt a big shift. Brilliant.
Loved it. So your
Fantastic.
next, yeah. It was interesting because I think it was one of my brother's birthday years ago, and we were all just talking to him. It was a big one, and the next minute I could see him, just his lights were going out, and he just went down, and I got an image of him being like hung from another lifetime at that same time, and I knew something had cleared for him, but it actually came through as in a physical manifestation. So I'm glad your head didn't get chopped off, Kathleen P. So yeah, we just sometimes though that the feeling of it can be really real as well. So yeah, it's pretty amazing. So let's have a look and see if Maple Tree's popped anything up yet. No. Okay. So Maple Tree, you keep having a little think about that. If it's still on, pop it on there. Okay, let's have a look.
Can I just say something about the pain that you get in your body? And like you said, Marie, your knee. We're talking about the connection with Kathleen B. And remembering some experience. Just more recently, I hurt myself. I think I mentioned I fell down on my back in the forest, and I hurt the muscle in between my ribs. And that I know that can take a bit of time to heal. I've done it before, but a day or two later, I actually sat with it and I thought, you know what? This is a remembrance for me. This is actually reminding me that I've had an injury there. And there must be some trauma associated with when I got that injury that I'm releasing. So I went to bed a couple of nights later, because it does take me a while to process things, especially if it's new. And I thought, I don't need to hold on to this memory anymore. And so by me doing that, I actually released the pain. I was able to let that heal because it was attached to that trauma of what I experienced. Now, I don't know what it was. I don't know where I was. To me, it doesn't matter. But once I made that link, it changed everything physically for me. So I think, my gosh, we do have incredible power to do this.
We do. I've always said this lifetime, I feel, is where we have the most options and gifts and choices to be able to help so many other timelines and dimensions. And yeah, it's like the unknown almost, so we are really powerful. So I love that. And I think this is a really good point to remind people, like, go in and ask it, like you acknowledged it, you connected to it. we don't have to go into all the tiny little detail. Just that knowing is enough. Like I keep saying, and then bring it back to the here and now once you've loved it and released it. So yeah, that's really cool. So,
and if you find yourself struggling with this, get out of your head. The head is the one that wants to take control over it and put all of and then you don't know where you're going with it.
Yeah.
Just release that, come into a space of nothingness, and then allow something to come through, and it'll come through your heart first, and then that will give you a message. And don't doubt it when it happens from that direction. It's exactly what you need to hear.
Completely.
Wouldn't all dream states be time travel, since we leave this dimension consisting of specific time constraints and move to alternate realms or realities that hold different properties?
Nice pickup, Lady Hawk.
Yep.
Yes, I agree with you.
Me too.
There's no such thing as time when we're dreaming, at all. It's simply the experience is what I find. So, yeah. But
I look at it as a house, and there's a room next door, and you go into that room and you can have the same experience at the same time. You're just not aware of it because your awareness is in this experience.
Yep.
But having said that, we're also learning to pull back some of those experiences. So, yeah, there's limitless possibilities that we've thrown out there. Some we're reeling back in, others we're merging, some we're just, go back. Go back to where you came from. We don't want you. But, yeah, my reflections this week definitely pointed me towards that.
And it was interesting. I was just thinking I always used to have flying dreams as a kid, and to me it felt quite normal. Then I really actively did a bit of reading and did some preparing to do lucid dreaming. And by the second night, I was lucid dreaming fully and off, doing whatever I wanted. But I remember I just moved to Sydney, and I was coming back in over the ocean to where I was living in Randwick. And I remember going, oh my God, I can't remember which house is mine. How do I know my house? So I was panicking, thinking I won't get back into my body. And the next minute I woke up, I went, oh, phew. So there was no time in between that. So I just found that really fascinating as well.
Yeah. And Lady Hook, I'd like you to think about this one too, because that's where I led. I was thinking about all of these dimensions and different things going on. And then I thought, what if we are our future selves sitting here?
Mm-hmm.
We plopped ourselves into this time frame because we know what was going to unfold, because it was seen, and we've come here to help change that process or to build something new. And that gives me the chills when I think about it. It's like, wow, we were actually here. Definitely. From the future, if you want to call the future as something, when really it was just.
Yeah, I know, you're right. And I also, just what I'm getting now is that we also tend to bring through what it is we need to remember when the time comes. It's almost like, you're going along, then there's a little activation bell that happens. And so you get this remembering of whatever we need to remember. And that, because I know that's happened quite a few times. And that's when I've had this amazing spiritual experience over a period of like about 6 months that happened. And that's happened twice in my life now. And it's just always perfect timing because, our soul knows. So, so it's pretty cool.
It is really cool.
Yeah, it is. I'm just trying to find, so Lady Maple Tree went, but you have, I probably have had dreams. I'm looking for crystals somewhere else. But let's have a look and see if she's written anything else here. I think we are more, I don't know if this was relevant to it. Copy it. Yeah, of the higher self. Yeah. I like that. Yeah, exactly. So it's like we're a template. So it's like this template's been made, and so, and we feel like we're the suckers that are doing the actual journey with the emotional aspect and all the things, whereas at the end of the day, it's not real apparently. So even though it feels very real to us.
Well, I just got that image of water come through then about the copy. So water is water, but it can be frozen, it can be steam, it can come in many forms and many shapes and many forces. And so, yeah, that's the wonderful thing, is we are water. What Alex Collier says the same thing about we are our future selves that have come back. Yeah, well, I feel that's the case.
Well, I know I've actually heard a voice next to me that's really helped me in a particular situation. It was one short sentence, and I got it. So that aspect of me obviously knew what I needed to hear. So, which, yeah, it's pretty cool. So, okay, so let's just go back. I'll just pop. Yep, we've done that one. Okay, so Trigal's popped a dream up there.
Okay, dream travelled from many years ago. A large manor house in the British Isles, time of carriages. I was the hired help. Had what I thought was a love relationship, the son of the house. Didn't realise nothing would come of it until it was too late. Was looking down a large drop-off beside the ocean, nothing more. Did I take my own life by jumping? I think so.
You just answered it, Trigal, is what I'm getting. And there could be some, and that can then come through in this lifetime where we have trust issues, or where we have, we feel like we've been abandoned. And so, and in those days, that would have been really, if you were pregnant, or if, there was something else going on, that was, what do? There was no support. You were ostracized. So maybe that was your only way out for you in that point. So I would go in, I don't know, but I would go in and just do a little bit of a contemplation, meditation, and just talk to that aspect of yourself, and just love it, because it's protected you, whatever it is. So yeah, I would actually do that connection in. So yeah, anything, Nick?
Well, if the fact that you're remembering it again, whether it's just curiosity or confirmation, but also sometimes it means, because my dreams, if I've had them in the past, unless I consult my book, most of the time I've got, and there will have to be a word that will trigger me, and it's for a reason of knowing this for somebody else, but I don't remember them. I will sort of, if something sparks it. So I'm wondering if there's still something here maybe for you.
Mm-hmm.
Like you said, Marie, I think that holds, there's a lot of truthful, I'm feeling that truth within. Yeah.
There's the moons there. So this is definitely, some aspect of this might be affecting your psyche. So something's a little bit out of place still. So it doesn't hurt to go in and have a look, because then the Emperor card came up. So the Emperor is, someone that's really strong, makes decisions from a very solid place. So, and then the 8 of Cups. So I feel it's walking away from something that's emotional around this as well, because that Emperor is so strong, and it gives you the courage then to just let it go. But I would go in and have a look. That's what that moon card's telling me. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
But yeah, and I mean, it's great, isn't it, when our dreams can help us, because this stuff can affect our every perception of life and what we create until it's fixed.
Yeah. As I said, it's still going on for us. Yeah. Still, that shadow is still there, going on for us in little ways, but we've done all the hard work. Otherwise, we wouldn't be getting this card. The fact that we're talking about it openly, it helps us to liberate,
Yeah.
And thank you for saying that, because yes, if you're feeling this way, you've recognized it simply by putting in writing, is a recognition of knowing that there was something in my life that has affected me, but look what you followed it with. Never give up. And I would even put another never in there. Never or ever give up on life, no matter what. Because you think about all the struggles we've all been through in our lives. Some of them, you can't compare them to someone else's experience, but it's what you've had to experience. And at the time you think, I'm never going to get through this. But of course, you're here now. Try job.
Yeah, exactly.
You wouldn't be here chatting online in this group if you were met. You're sorry, darling, you're staying.
Yeah. And I think sometimes too, Trigal, I've had a lifetime where I've done that emotionally. I've actually taken my own life because of a war and, losing someone. And then I I knew that person. I met that person here in this lifetime, and I knew what it was all about. It all just fitted in. It was one of those 6-month spiritual experiences with everything going on. And it just closed a whole chapter for me. And I remember then that was like, yeah, no, we don't need to go back there, even though sometimes you want to get off this planet, and I have. Sometimes I've gone, oh, stop this boat, I want to get off. But I just knew, I went, no, because I know I've done this before and I need to deal with my emotional aspect. So I think it's fantastic that you're actually, you know that. Yeah. So I think
And
that's
we're also all here too, connected with you, sending you that love, you know, giving you that space to be who you're truly meant to be. And yes, you know, you at first you crawl, but then you walk, and then you run, and then you levitate.
it, totally. So this is interesting as well, about the time.
Dimension of relativity requires a measurement. Here to there, good versus evil, how far, how fast. Yes.
And that's our dual world. If there wasn't duality, how could we even begin to compare to see where we were sitting or to see what it felt like?
Yeah,
So if we did have really cold days, we wouldn't enjoy those beautiful sunny blue days that come through to us. So it's so true. Yeah.
And why people say, well, why do we have to experience evil? Why can't we just all be good? It's because you don't know how good is until you experience evil.
Yeah.
Like everything. Why am I experiencing this? Because I need to understand what it's like to be on that other side of duality. And it doesn't mean when we start to unify, we're not going to experience unusual things, but we're not going to have that pain and suffering that's attached to it. That's the difference. We will still feel like we could still run and break our leg physically. It will be able to be healed really quickly without all the anxiety that goes with, oh, I'm going to not be able to work. And, you know, this is emotion stuff that we got attached to. We're going to drop all that emotion away, still have a feeling. It'll go, it'll be fixed really quickly, and then we move on. So that's how I see how we still have a physical experience, but without all of that duality coming in, which is very heavily emotional based, which this takes over.
Yeah, so true.
So Lady Hawk says, if you're totally in this moment now, you could stop time.
Or could you stop time?
Or could you stop time? Sorry, yes.
Yeah. So maybe it's because time then doesn't actually exist.
Yeah, I'd say that's more like, you know, you start to understand.
Yeah, it's almost like we're in a realm then without that time, and we're being. We just are being. Yeah. So I think in a way we could call it stopping time.
Yes.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It's like time doesn't exist. So I mean, you look at our society, our whole system is based on, oh, what's time? I've got an appointment now. I've got this. Whereas if you look at how Gaia works, how the earth works, she works in cycles. And yes, it's still a measurement of time, but not really. It's going with the flow. It's being much more synchronistic with what's happening. So I would just love for us to be back in the true cycle of Earth.
Well, I did see, I don't know whether it's true or not, because I've been teaching to the students for quite some time about, we did a study on all the different calendars that existed. We tried to investigate, went all the way back. And we said, well, let's just start with the 13-month one. And then we looked at, there's so many variations. In other words, there was no answer. There was no answer. The only thing that came true was we look at ancient traditions, which is seasons and cycles. So in a way, the clock face was that cycle, you know, where we go through our seasons, and then our seasons also reflect how we feel. You know, winter's a time for a bit of self-reflection, we get to rest, and then spring comes, we all want to get out and be social again, and summer's like, yeah, lots of activities, and, you know, and it's all reflective of what goes within us as well. But
So
of course,
true.
this whole infinite thing of where we join together, we come out, we come together, we come out, is part of our learning process, you know, what we're here for.
Absolutely. So so that's a really good question, Lady Hawk. And this is great. This is why it's so good that we're all here, because we have these little, oh yeah, I wonder about this, and we put it in, and that gives us all something to then contemplate, you know, that will pop in. So next time I'm doing something where I'm really focused, before I start, I'll go, okay, I'm just going to completely let go of anything around time. I'm actually going to try that and do it consciously.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
Yeah.
to work with for sure.
Now let me see. A few, three, and wonder what gods and goddesses in the realm of Andromeda Galaxy. Okay.
I have a question for you three. I'm wondering what gods and goddesses are in the realm of the Andromeda Galaxy.
It's interesting, Maple Tree, because I have had a connection with the Andromeda Galaxy or the Andromedan plane or whatever you want to call it. And this was one of my rememberings that happened. And it was probably about 15 years ago, maybe 12, maybe. And I was just having dinner with a friend, and we were in a really nice, quiet little booth. The next minute, this thing came through. I went, oh, they're here. And she went, who's here? And I went, I have to make portals for them. And I started doing language of light, and because they were trying to come through me, and it was Andromedan energy, and it was actually, they actually look like, what's the word? Praying mantis. They actually look like praying mantis, and they were trying to come through me. I could feel it. I could feel this thing. I went, you can't come through me. I have to make a portal. So I was there doing this language of light, making a portal. And I went, oh, that's better. They stopped coming through me. And then I went, oh, I've got to do some more. So I made some more. And it wasn't for right here. It was actually for in other aspects, other dimensions, so they could come through. It was time for this Andromedan energy to come to Earth. And I got a vision of other people all around the Earth at that time doing exactly the same thing. And all this language of light was incredible. My friend that was with me, she said to me, I said, when I stopped, I just knew exactly what I was doing. It was like this memory came back to me, but I didn't have to sit there thinking about it. Absolutely knew everything I was doing, the words I was using with the language of light. And then I turned around at the end of it all and looked at my friend, and she was crying. I went, what are you crying for? She never cries. And she went, the energy. She said, that was the most amazingly beautiful thing I've ever felt. So I think Maple Tree, what I'm saying to you is the gods and goddesses to me from Andromeda Galaxy, I feel that they're in a whole different realm and a whole different way of being to like what we can imagine. It's almost like they don't have them. They have beings that are very, very wise and very, very heartfelt. What their lesson was that I was getting was that they're so intelligent. They had a discrepancy between where the heart and the mind disconnected. So they actually had to go in and actually heal that and bring that through. Sorry, I'm getting a bit of clarity, something going on. They had to bring that through. So their wisdom now comes with heart fully, but they couldn't come onto this earth plane energetically until we were at a certain frequency. I am trying to remember if it was about 12 or 13 years ago that this happened. But I just knew. And it was triggered if my friend's husband had been away, and he brought me this beautiful green jade praying mantis brooch. And I went, that's weird. Okay, I put it on. Didn't think anything of it. And everything just got activated once we were out at dinner on our own. So that's all I can tell you that I know about Andromeda. And another friend did a healing for me way before this. And she said, Marie, I don't quite understand this. But at the end of it, she said, the Andromedans said hello. And so it was really, so that was sort of almost starting to just trigger me. So that was probably about a year before this happened. So Maple Tree, that's all I know about Andromeda. I can check in with Jazzy if you like. Let's just see what Jasper has to say. Oh, green. He's just showing me green. So much green. Okay. Their energy is almost angelic. He's showing me an angel flying on a horse. Yeah, so that's all I'm seeing. So, gosh, there's a lot of energy coming in with that. Whew. There you go.
There's a beautiful calmness with the Andromeda energy. And, when you were talking, Marie, I got from that word Andromeda, androgynous, which is there's no sex. And so the god and goddess, as I call Goder and goddess, which is the male and female version that we have within us. It's like the intuitive, creative, and then we've got the other side of that male doing practical, the head. And so ultimately we have both in us in a beautiful, we just plop ourselves into something that looks physical and male. So I don't think they have any of that going on, but they certainly have the best of everything all beautifully blended into one.
Yeah, that's what I was getting, and that's why they had to wait for a certain time frame to be well, it was a frequency level, consciousness level.
Yes.
Come on. So yes, so you're right. It was beautiful. So it was like this beautiful angelic being. This is the energy that it's depicting, an energy on a horse. Now, horse to me is freedom and power, and intelligence. And they're sort of just merged with all of that. So yeah. And Maple Tree, I'll just quickly pop this up. This is from her dream that she had when she was on another dimension.
Oh, I think that the dream was all about helping me or my higher self to bring him or her crystals.
Yeah, just to experience it. We don't have to have I love working with etheric crystals. We don't actually have to have the crystal with us to get all the benefits or to actually tap into it. So, yeah, I absolutely agree with that. Beautiful.
Exactly. Unless we probably need some physical. Sometimes I feel we're drawn to carry a crystal, to hold a crystal when there's some more grounding that might be needed. The crystal energy will help us do that. But yes, I often talk to my crystals in another room or when I'm away.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, Jazzy's a crystal as well. It's just so totally. Yeah.
So Lady Hawk's written here, I think time in a linear fashion, but if every moment happens at the same time, we could simply learn to slide into and out of selected moments. The now space, the dream state removes the barrier. Beautiful insights there.
I love it. Yeah, totally. There is no barrier. And in our dreams, we can suddenly be, I remember once, I was when we're in cars and that, we can be actually traveling in our dreams. But sometimes we can just jump, can't we? Actually, I watched that movie last night, Jumper. Have you ever watched that?
No. Oh, no, I haven't.
There's a movie for you guys.
Oh,
it's from back a bit, but it's.
Oh, no, I remember seeing it. That was wild.
Right, so watch it. If you haven't watched the movie Jumper, watch it. It's loved. I love that sort of stuff. Because
I watched it. I enjoyed it so much. Yes, I remember now.
Within our dream state, or within, even when we're meditating, and who knows, one day I'd love to be able to do that, and I can't see why not. So Jumper, great movie. So so I do, Lady Hawk. The dream state does remove the barrier of our mind of this time thing, because we're in consciousness. So it's such a great insight, as Nick said. So so Trigal, woohoo!
I levitate all the time in my dreams. So funny you said that. I know. And you know what? It is funny I said it because I've had a dream last week about levitation, and I thought, oh, Dave's going to love this. And I have to share it because it was such a beautiful dream. And I thought, and I think it ties in with this last card as well a little bit. Okay. But I was looking up at the blue sky, and there was a group of 7 women, and they were all wearing tight-fitting, like blue lycra type suits, and they were ready to perform a dance up in the sky, just floating up there in the sky. And I could see that on the bench at the side, there were other groups ready to perform as well. And I was watching them, and I could see them limbering up and warming up. And I said to them, how do you stay up there? How do you float up there or levitate? And their answer was they stay suspended, and they said citric acid. I went, wow, what do you mean soaking in it? So we're having this like real conversation, like how could I get there and do that? And then so then I said, oh, I don't need to do that. Like, as in I was thinking the citric acid. I was back in a room with them, and I was showing them that I could levitate. Now, sometimes when I levitate in my dreams, it takes me a little minute to get that going. I was just instantly there, and I was just showing them how I could easily levitate. It was so effortless this time. And so when I looked at that, I thought, oh, this is a dream about where we're headed in terms of that enlightenment and going back into the sky and the spiritual world. And levitation and that whole floating concept is that we're up there with that spiritual level of ourselves, even though I came back into the room at the same time, but I showed I could be on the ground and off the ground. So I haven't lost that connection. But and certainly the dance is the joy and the happiness that we're meant to be bringing into our lives as well. And then I thought I had to investigate citric acid, because I thought it just didn't. Why did I give myself that image or that word? And when I looked it up, it comes from the word, citrus, which is lemon. It's cleansing and healing. It's used to stabilize.
Oh, so my goodness. That's amazing.
That's right. And this card to me is also about stabilization, that, the liberation of ourselves is getting us back to who we truly are, and, bringing those two things together. But, of course, we've been down low. We need to go up high sometimes, back up into our soul and connect with that again.
Beautiful. And
levitation dream.
Perfect. I love it.
I'm usually on time for things. Time I was running late sometimes happens at the other end, and I rush there for nothing. Happened last week. Was worried I'd be late in traffic and was there on time.
It's
Hey,
exactly
how much
what's been
time does that
happening. Like everything, yeah, just flows. Yeah.
Yeah,
So yeah, Kathleen never worries about time anymore. I know it's
it's good.
pointless, isn't it?
Yeah,
Absolutely pointless. Yeah.
it is. Little, kids often do that too. They'll say they don't understand why parents are always worrying about rushing.
Yeah.
Like, what's the
I know
rush?
kids get it. Kids are like, whatever. So
Yeah, exactly. Tanya says, I'm connected to Andromeda and my favorite color is green. Yeah.
yeah.
Wow.
And that was the color. That was all that was coming through as green. And it was a green jade or some sort of green stoned thing. So it's interesting. Thanks, Tanya, for that.
And
Yeah.
we all are connected to Andromeda because it's
Yeah.
part of our founding groups when we sort of flesh out, all those levels. They're there to support us, and they're beautiful things. So if you connect with some of those other dimensions or higher realms, whatever you want to call them, they're there to help us and support us. So grab what you can.
Exactly. So
It's the spaceship and space,
amen.
throne
Question.
room of God, and I fly around in my dreams.
Yeah.
Wow.
It's fantastic. I love flying in my dreams. I haven't for a little while actually, which is interesting. But I used to, even when I was a kid, I'd be flying and I'd be over London, and I'd never been there before. So it was interesting. Yeah. So it's I just think we're limitless. I know we're limitless. So we can
Isn't
do
there a
anything.
movie like that too?
Yes.
Which
I
sort of
love that movie.
yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So many good movies are actually telling us really who we truly are. So
Yeah.
it's just about us remembering that
Yes.
and experiencing it. So
Yeah, exactly.
yeah, fantastic. So what's your last card? Because we're nearly
Right.
finished. So do you want
Yep.
to bring your last card up?
Oh, wrong
You
wrong
read out
card.
the word for us. Let me just get rid of this, and you read out the word as well because it's really hard to read them.
I will. Yes, it's back the front. They are. So there it is. This is called Sacred Quest. And it's interesting that I've been fixated lately on this whole, King Arthur, Knights of the Round Table. But when I saw it combined with the other two cards, I thought, as we discover these, where we've come from, this is what is now starting to become into our awareness is what we're here to do. And it might not be the only thing. It's not our only quest, but it's the first stepping stones into what we're really here, and we've created ourselves to be here for. So we're doing the messy part. We're trying to sort all that out. We're healing our traumas, our past lives, our life experiences. Now we're getting our shit together basically, and now we're moving into. We've grounded all of that. We're getting liberated. That's what we've got to look forward to. And that's why I guess I keep seeing this higher level of the spiritual world coming in more and more, and we're starting to elevate our conversations even here now, getting out of the grounded stuff and more into the etheric, which is wonderful. So yes, our quest. What's your quest?
I love it. That is so perfect from the shadow to liberation to the sacred quest. What a beautiful awareness and transitioning. So
And the sword is the knowingness of it.
yeah.
It's our gnosis, isn't it? Mm.
So what is our sacred quest? I guess, people go, what's my, well, I guess we ask, well, what's my destiny here? What am I meant to be doing? But what's our sacred quest? Because that could simply be, I'm here to truly feel, know, and understand emotions of love. I'm here, we don't know. That could be enough. So yeah.
Oh, that gave me goosebumps then, Marie, when you said that. That's beautiful.
Yeah, so maybe we're not looking for this, what's my destiny and purpose? I love that. What's our sacred quest?
Mm.
And it can be something so simple, So yeah, I like that one. I think maybe we could ask for some dreams on that one. What do you think, Miss Nick?
Yeah, definitely. Yeah.
So guys, so for next week, just maybe have some intention before you're going to sleep. Just say, I truly connect into what my sacred quest is. And just give it to me in the most beautiful dream that is most pertinent for me to remember. So something like that. You guys know how to do this now. You're old hands at this. But see, I love Kathleen here. So how she's
I took a portal to South America this week in a dream, was eating with a family as a guest, walked around the town, etc.
That's amazing. Well, did it feel lucid, Kathleen? That's what I love about them, is when it's lucid, like you're doing it in your dream and you're dreaming. So yeah. So I love it. That's brilliant. So Kathy's on. Hi, Kathy. And then Mandy just says,
I'm here to help people heal from trauma.
Yeah. And Mandy, I bet, at some level you've had to do some trauma healing for yourself, because to me, I always used to say to God, why have I had I feel like a tough life, with all these experiences. It's like number one, you would have been bored stupid. And number two, it's almost like it has to be within our psyche, because people get it, they feel it, they know, hey, she's been through this, survived it. And look, yeah, it's all good. So I really feel that part of that is when we are here to help others, we have to experience it almost ourselves, not always, but almost. Yeah. So
yeah.
Well, there you go. Well, we're at an hour, Nick. So
fantastic. Well, that was a jam-packed full hour.
That was fantastic.
Lots to give thought to, lots to feel into this week.
Yeah.
Thank you for joining us all. I really appreciate all the feedback and the input that you give us, because it's really for everybody else out there.
So I just love everyone's thoughts, because it's places I wouldn't go consciously. So I love everyone that's on here. Thank you, guys. And have a feel into that destiny. Well, no, it's not. That sacred quest could be it doesn't have to be a thing. It could be just an experience. So, and Jazzy says, see you later. And I will see you next week, Nick.
Bye, Marie. Bye, everybody. Lots of love to you. Bye.